At this time, I would like to introduce our student speaker, Matthew Vance. Mr. Vance is receiving a Bachelor of Arts degree in art. Along with a number of other eligible students, he wrote and presented a speech to the commencement committee. He was selected by the committee to present his remarks today. So without further delay, it is my pleasure to welcome Matthew Vance to the podium.
Thank you, Dr. Dudley Eschbach. I'd also like to thank the other members of the platform, the faculty and staff, and of course, my family. I am more than honored to have the opportunity to be the graduation speaker for the Salisbury University class of 2010. Unlike many of you graduating here today, I am a 32-year-old returning college student. Despite this slight difference in age, I was met with many of the same anxieties and uncertainties that a lot of you face when you arrived on campus. Is this really what I want to do? Did I choose the right major? Am I going to be able to make it? Uh-oh, I'm a college student. My biggest fear when embarking on my college career at Salisbury was the fear that I had forgotten everything that I'd ever learned during my prior education. I hadn't been in a classroom in years. I recall a sense of panic when my art history professor was assigning us our first research paper. He started talking about annotated bibliographies, MLA format, words I hadn't heard in a long time. I honestly thought I was doomed. I was never more than an average student to begin with, and I always struggled in school. In fact, I liked fourth grade so much, I did it twice. My dyslexia was always in full force, making life in the classroom a difficult one. I did okay and was generally content with getting C's. My most successful subjects were art, gym, and lunch. I got through high school, but due to my subpar SAT scores, I decided to go to community college. Taking this direction worked out okay. It allowed me time to really consider what direction I wanted to go in life. I eventually got my associate's degree and graduated with an average GPA. Upon graduating, I continued to work at the same retail job that I had throughout my time in school, but eventually moved on and tried my hand in a variety of other professions, including insurance, banking, and pizza delivery. I was never certain of things when it came to where I wanted to go and what I wanted to be. Life continued to go on, and as it happens, I learned a lot about myself during the course of my 20s. One major change in my life was becoming a father. Being a dad was a huge challenge and taught me more things than I could ever imagine. I also faced major lessons, like how to deal with tragedy and financial ups and downs. I realized simple things too. I realized I didn't like jobs where I had to wear a suit to work, and that I wanted a job that would allow me to be creative. I wanted to be a graphic designer. Knowing this, I determined that I needed to go back to school, but this time, I was going to go back with conviction and certainty. Conviction and certainty are two things that have made this go-around far more successful than my prior efforts. So there I was, at 30 years old, sitting in a classroom, freaking out with assignments coming at me from every direction. I took it all in and put in however much time it took to assure that I would get the best grades I could. Although it seemed like I was always working on schoolwork, I still managed to find time for other activities. I learned a valuable lesson over the years, the importance of maintaining balance in life. During the week, my focus was on school, and on the weekends, I'd spend time with my son, my family, and my friends. I tried my hand at stand-up comedy by entering the SU Last Comic Standing competition, and I took part in a couple of SU TV productions. I also played intramural football, and although I didn't have quite the same spring in my step anymore, I tried to keep up the best that I could. The first semester had gone by, and I had managed to get straight A's, something I don't think I'd ever done. I was very proud of myself, but terrified at the same time. I had set the bar so high and knew it was only going to get harder to maintain such a pace. I never actually said it out loud or wrote it down, but I had set a mental goal for myself. I told myself I was going to get an A in every class I took, no matter what. This outlook was a result of another lesson I had learned. Hard work is the only thing that can ensure you a chance at success. In the past, I've relied on luck. I've looked for shortcuts, and I've even been content at times with not trying my best. These methods weren't going to cut it if I was to keep up with the success of my first semester. As the next semester began, I had realized something. I looked forward to school and the process of learning something new. I didn't look at my classes as obstacles, but instead as opportunities. Every lecture was a chance to realize something I didn't know before. Every assignment was a chance to interact with this new knowledge. I found myself spending many hours in the computer lab trying to get my design projects to be just right. One classmate even made a joke that they should name the Mac lab in Fulton Hall after me because I was always in there. My grandmother would always tell me not to work so hard. And I'd tell her, it really doesn't feel like work. I legitimately enjoyed it. Although I'd be lying if I said there weren't times that I felt naive for thinking that all A's was a possibility. It seemed out of reach at times, but I was going to keep working hard. Semester after semester went by, and I managed to meet my goals. I remember telling some friends and family that I'd been getting A's in all my classes, and they'd look at me and say, "Really?" They seemed amazed by it, but based on my track record, I can't blame them. I couldn't believe it either. I don't think I've grown smarter over the years. I'd say I'm just a knucklehead who learned the importance of dedicating myself to the pursuit of an education. I began to appreciate the fact that I had the opportunity to seek that education. I knew what I wanted to do and was willing to make the sacrifices necessary to achieve my goals. So here I am, a dyslexic, two-time fourth grader, former C student, graduating summa cum laude with a 4.0 GPA. Thank you. I'm not a big fan of cliches, but I'm going to use one anyway. We can do whatever we want if we set our minds to it. As we move on to the next phase of our lives, we must be ready to face hard times and be ready to embrace success. We must remember that despite graduating here today, there will always be lessons to learn throughout our lives. Every day will provide us with something we can use for tomorrow if we keep our eyes and ears open to receive them. Thank you and good luck.